All right, welcome to the Athens Film Festival 2025 Creator Interviews. Today I'm here with Felix Lipp, the writer-director of the film Nochar, which is showing at the festival this August. Felix, how are you doing today?
Hello, thank you so much for having me. It's quite wonderful here in the mild northern part of Denmark, and I hope you guys in Athens are not dying from any heat or other severe weather events.
That's very kind. I think we have actually rain scheduled later today, so hopefully it doesn't storm too bad like last night.
Okay, well, good luck to you.
Well, thank you. All right, well, I guess I'll just jump right in and ask. This is a very restrained but emotional short. What inspired it? Was it a personal memory, something like, experiencing on a farm, rural life? What was the inspiration here?
Yeah, thank you. The very, very direct inspiration was the cafeteria at my school, or like the culture around the cafeteria at my film school, which is located near Los Angeles, and maybe the consumption culture on the West Coast I've heard is a little bit different still than on the East Coast. So to me, as a coming from Germany and like coming from the more rural area that I'm from, it was very interesting to see how people use my school's cafeteria and what their relationship to food and especially meat is. When I pitched my film for the first time, and the audience, meaning those students, understood that the farmer was about to kill the cow, they reacted in like a horror and shock, which was very surprising to me because at the same time they go to the cafeteria every day and eat loads and loads of meat. I did the calculations. They, bless you, on
Thank
average,
you.
they eat about 400% of the U.S. government recommended maximum each week. Which is like normal in the US. The US is like the after Hong Kong, I believe it is the, or I mean, don't quote me on this, but I believe the US is, of all the large countries, has the highest per capita meat consumption. And the same thing was the case at my school. So people using the cafeteria, putting loads and loads of meat on their plate, sometimes throwing half or more of it away again because they didn't eat all of it. But then at the same time, they look at a film where, in a very, as you said, in a very like mild, very mute and cute way almost, it is shown that a cow is about to be killed for food. It can be assumed. They react in with such extreme emotions. I found this dichotomy very interesting. That's a very long answer for your question right there.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Thank you for giving me all that insight. That makes total sense. Yeah, also, I was just curious here too on that, on just, the premise itself. Can you talk to me about the title, Nochar, which I hope I'm also pronouncing right. How does that relate to the idea here that you had?
Yeah, the title, by the way, don't worry about the pronunciation because even the like the German interviewers I've had so far, they've not pronounced it correctly because it's a very specific dialectal word from the area in northern Italy where my mother is from, and so they would say Nochar, which is
Ah,
I think maybe a strange sound for English speakers as well. But so don't worry. What it means, in the dialect, the word is used very frequently to introduce a conversation to like I feel these people living or like the culture there in northern Italy in the Alps in the mountains is a culture of not many words. So this one word already encapsulates a lot of meaning. It
Mm,
can be how have you been? Was it not great? Was your time not nice? But also at the same time, should we go on? Should we continue? Are we hesitating? Um,
mm,
so it speaks both about, it speaks very nonchalantly about a past, or it asks about a past that has been acceptable, agreeable, right, and it also says, okay, and now we continue with what we are doing here. Um, like all that in one word, which I like. So this would be the title word would be the one word. The If there were any dialogue in the film, the farmer would say this one word to the cow, would say Nochar, meaning, is it not nice here? Have you not had? Have we not both had a nice relationship, a loving relationship? Even you have had all the sunlight and the grass and the nature and sounds and smells and tastes around you, and now, okay, we continue with the relationship that we have, which means you have eaten the grass. Now I eat you.
mm,
So it is not at all supposed to be. Yeah, in the title it is hinted. If you know the meaning of the title, it is hinted that the film is not at all supposed to be a preachy, like, veganist stance that which is, I think, what, like, my classmates in my at my film school understood. They were like, oh yeah, this film tells us eating meat in the end is super super evil, and killing cows bad bad bad. But I am trying to present the audience here with a snippet of a more natural and authentic and a relationship to meat and like the animals we eat, that allows for the seeming contradictions between loving and killing and eating to exist. And it just says, in the past, or like in some other cultures, people have, because they raise and kill the animals they eat themselves, they have a
mm.
very different and much more nuanced and less black and white relationship to the meat and the animals they eat.
Yeah, oh my goodness. That's especially, I think, relevant for us in Georgia. We have a big agriculture community here.
Mm.
A lot of rural areas. I mean, just driving, you can go 20 minutes out and you'll see cows. So,
Lovely. Okay. If I may interview you here for a second,
sure.
um, because I've never been to Georgia. Unfortunately, I'm not going to make it to the film festival. That's why I'm here now, to connect a little bit, hopefully. But I hope to visit one day, maybe for the Athens Film Festival in the coming years. Um, yeah, what is it like? Are the people in Georgia both the ones working in agriculture and the ones who are like living in the urban areas? Um, yeah, is the culture very close to the agriculture, and like, is the is this idea that I presented of, yeah, you are eating an animal, but that is, that is something you can accept or disagree with, but it's happening. Is that, on average, would you say, something that people are aware of? Are the agricultural sites you've spoken of, are they these very big industrial complexes, or is it very, like, small farmers connected to the local communities? Yeah, I would be
Yeah, that's a
interested.
great question. Absolutely. I'd say that it's a lot of rural. We have one probably big city. Atlanta is our capital, and that's
Mm,
extremely urban. No farms there at all, things like that.
mm,
But when we do pass by farms, it tends to be like a house and a barn, and then a lot of land around it. So
Ah,
I get the
yeah.
impression
Okay.
there's a lot of, families on a bunch of acres here that,
Ah.
have a bunch of livestock. Yeah, we have a lot more rural areas, I'd say. There's a lot of land in the US, I'm sure you've
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
realized. It's just very big.
Mm.
So it's just long stretches of that. I would also say, though, the South in particular in the US is something unique because there's also a hunting culture here, and
Mm.
people eat what they hunt here. It's not so much for sport, like people that travel, internationally and go to Africa and do sport hunting. I think everyone
Mm.
I've talked to that hunts here, if they kill something, they eat it like that night.
How wonderful. Yay.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that there is an interesting, relationship absolutely when you are closer to agriculture and facilitating the food that you eat. Absolutely. My old
Mm,
roommate,
mm,
not to go too tangential, I love her. She's a representative of the agriculture school at the University
mm.
of Georgia, like the full state school here. And she was on like a meat judging team, like
A
judging like
meat
cuts.
judging team. Ah, okay, I
Yeah,
see.
so distinct to, I think, big agriculture schools in the South.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
but she had a great appreciation for the fact that, people cultivated, like, they went through a lot of hands and care to get to our mouths. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yeah, wonderful
Anyway,
that this knowledge is existent, it seems, in Georgia. That's wonderful.
absolutely. Well, yeah, I think, well, so you wanted more maybe respect to be cultivated for this process by making this film. But there was also an emotional reaction that people have. How has the reaction been, and what have you hoped for, and have you been surprised by any reactions?
Yeah. Yeah, that, like surprised is I think what has been really interesting to me is yeah, which is not really a surprise, but more like a very pleasant confirmation, I guess, is that indeed the people I've talked to so far who um, are living or who have grown up in areas more related to agriculture, they were more able to see the film in a not black and white context, but be like, yeah, exactly. I grew up on a farm, and we had all those like cows and bunny, like rabbits, etc. And as a child, I tended to and loved them so much, and I gave them names, etc. But then I had to, yeah, tackle the fact that animals were butchered and eaten for dinner the next day, and at some point I learned to accept it, and this is what's shown in the film, etc. And yeah, and meanwhile, other people seeing, yeah, for example, my classmates in Los Angeles seeing the same film, the same relationship in like 90 seconds presented. So there's not that much to misunderstand, I feel. But nevertheless, they would be like, yeah, like they, even though I really try to show like, yeah, look, this is like, yeah, I'm being very, very non-violent here, obviously.
Yeah.
And I do think for like the most part of the industrialized world, this is definitely not the norm. Like this relationship between human and animal is probably not the norm. So like the meat my classmates will eat in the cafeteria, this it will not have been raised this way. Yeah. Anyways, but they could not see this kind of positive relationship here. So yeah, this was more of a confirmation. But then again, there have actually been people, and that was probably the best surprise. There have actually been people who, and yeah, this like take this with a grain of salt, do with it what you will, but they watched the film, they came to me and were like, yeah, so I understand now, yeah, that meat eating is super evil. And I
Oh,
was like, no, no, not necessarily, etc., etc. I would say if you if you feel or if you felt comfortable slaying a cow yourself and then eating it yourself, then I think you have a mature relationship to the meat you eat. Do you think you would be able to butcher a cow or raise and butcher a cow yourself? And then they were like, no, I could never do that. That would be too much. And from this realization, they took the consequence. Okay, I guess I'm not made for eating meat. Then I'm
oh,
gonna try becoming vegetarian now. So that was, and I think like I've checked back in with them, and like for a few months now, they have actually been vegetarian. So this was obviously their subjective take of the film, but I think it's yeah, rather consequent and lovely to see, I want to say.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's great that you've had some reactions that I think saw it through, or at least even the ones that didn't quite understand that it's not supposed to be scary, that it made them think. Absolutely. Um, but speaking of like lovely, the animation style was something I really noticed first here too. It's very tactile, somewhat minimal, not any color really going on. What was kind of the thought process behind this stripped back kind of style to let that like tenderness, I think, speak?
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for like noticing, commenting on it. Yes. Yes. The point here was really to show that every frame every frame, every second of the life of that animal, but also of the landscape around, for example, is valid and beautiful in its aliveness. There are like, I did not try to include any meaning in the movement or the shape design of the animal in particular that went beyond this is alive. Like in other, yeah, like in other styles, you might have said, "Oh, this animal is super good." Like you would have a connotation to it, like an emotional value put onto it that minimizes the value of the thing itself and is makes it only valid in a certain context or something. But I try to just show with every frame, this is a living cow. This is a living cow. It's a living cow, and it stays a living animal throughout, and like the landscape around it moves and is alive throughout,
Yeah.
and the human moves and is alive throughout. There's no there's no change attached to the fact that the life is going to end. There's no it's all one ecosystem of life that exists in the moment. It is not consequential to what has been before or what will come after. There's only one change in the animation, which is in the like maybe rather subtle, which is in the end when like the cow becomes more static and the lines go from I try to and the lines go from very sketchy and blah, 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 and rough to more confined. And
Mm.
that was the only change I had here. and this difference in line quality is now supposed to show, okay, we are going from from life, from something uh, meaningless other than the inherent meaning in itself. We are going to something more static, not alive, and also maybe more.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Mm. Yes. Oh my God. No, that was perfect. I absolutely like I loved all of those details and harmony. Like is the grass moving? I thought one detail I noticed was like even like the flies on his eye or her eye, the cow. I was like, you would only notice that if you've been up close to an animal like that, right? Like that's something you would have to be pretty intimately near to understand. And I did love how also like the end was extremely gentle. The whole thing, the whole film, there's just a sense of gentleness, which I think was especially profound, absolutely. But was that always your plan for it ending with the visual details sort of dissolving until we're left with this outline? Did you ever have another idea for the end? Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, thank you for that answer. Absolutely. I feel even more so it just the ending becomes more and more gray, if anything, too, showing even more that it's not black and white. I mean, literally, which I appreciated. Mhm. Absolutely. I loved it. Well, you have been such a delight to talk to. I mean, I love how thoughtful your answers have been here. I'll just wrap up with one question here. This project has been, I mean, obviously something you've put so much thought and passion into, and I love that so much. How has this probably changed you as a writer, and is there one thing in particular that you'll take with this project in your future projects? Oh. Oh. Mm. Oh, yeah. Oh, I love it. No, thank you so much. I absolutely adore your philosophy as a filmmaker there. That is so tender. Where can the people, thank you. Thank you, but where can the people find more about you and your projects in the future? Yay. All right, well, we hope so. Thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me and giving such great answers. Yes, it's meant so much. And for everyone watching, come see Nochar. I can't say it. Can you say it for me? Nochar? Or- Okay, come see the word I just said at the Athens Film Festival. August 14th through 17th. Tickets are on sale now at athensfilm.com. Thank you so much, Felix. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for talking with us. All right, bye.